If you're like me, then you probably know the feeling of anxiety. The concern that you're entering a situation, and even before you enter it, you can create a million different scenarios where everything can go wrong. Now, I'm calling this video How to Start a Conversation, but yet I'm going to start with talking to you about my own anxiety, and I think that how to start a conversation is very similar to how we start anything in life. And hopefully, throughout the series of videos that I'm going to be releasing, you're going to see that when you recognize everything that is at play, that's how you're going to start to master conversations. Now, what do I mean by mastering everything that is at play? You enter a conversation, and very often oh my goodness, what am I going to say? How am I going to express what I want to express? How do I connect to this person? They're not in my age group. They're not of my background. I can't relate to them. I can't connect to them. And I think that all these things are sort of, when we ignore them, what we do is we are almost exiting that conversation in some capacity. We have all these things that we recognize. Everything can sort of be fair play. And then we choose to say, you know what? That doesn't exist. I'm almost going to be in denial of it. Now, I entered this space, and this is the first video I'm ever releasing. I don't have a sort of a background in these sorts of things. And yeah, that can be sort of nerve-wracking. I love conversations, and I spent the last 2 years taking everything that I understand and trying to reapply it to the world of conversations. I've had the opportunity to meet with some of the most interesting people I've ever met, and you actually start to learn that it has nothing to do with your background, nothing to do with sort of the piece of paper that you spend 4 years working for, some people longer, some people less. But it's about what these things mean to you. Yeah, it is sort of a crazy concept that a person can go to a certain college or a certain school, and that we would almost respect them in a different capacity. Now, my hope is that the first thing that I'm speaking to an audience now that doesn't even necessarily exist and can be built, and this whole space is very new to me, and I think that even entering this space, I want to enter it the same way that I enter conversations in general, and that is a recognition and an acceptance of everything that exists, and then a choice to interact with it curiously. Right now I sit here and I may be looking at these dots that represent cameras which are somehow capturing me, and somehow I know, and I'm reminding myself that this is sort of how I want to get from where I am right now to my long-term goals, to my dreams of traveling the world, understanding people better, talking to people, helping people understand themselves better, helping people understand others better. I think that the difference a conversation can make is it's the difference between you and a parent being more on the same page and having more of an understanding of each other and a recognition of each other. It's between you and a friend being able to reconcile differences that you maybe never discussed because in your mind it was obvious, or in their mind they didn't even know it existed. So, to start a conversation, you have to recognize that there are a lot of factors at play, but one of them is ourselves. And the first step that you want to take to be able to master conversations is to recognize who you would be in that conversation space. Who are you when you walk into a room, and who do you want to be? And although those two things can be in some ways the same, when you walk into a space, and I'm walking into this world of social media, and the person I want to be is someone who can connect to people of all different sorts of backgrounds. And I think that this new platform is almost the most exciting and interesting, because when I release this to the world, the person, I don't get to decide, nor do I get to see, nor do I get to respond to you as viewers in that moment in the same ways that a lot of the rules that I've sort of found for myself about conversations apply. And I'm excited to take this journey with you and to sort of share my journey, this being step one, which has, just as it does in every single sort of step in our lives, has a lot of excitement. And I hope that, who knows, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, I do see myself in, like, as opposed to sitting by myself and maybe recording these videos alone, working with other individuals. And even starting this video, there are so many things that are so nerve-wracking, because you think to yourself, well, did I connect this correctly? Is this perfectly aligned? Is my background ideal? And it's the exact same thing when we enter a conversation. You walk in and, did I brush my teeth well enough? Does my breath smell? Am I looking long enough into the person's eyes? Am I looking too long into the person's eyes? And my hope is that this series will give you the opportunity to see yourself, to see and speak to yourself, to understand yourself, to recognize who you are, like I said. And who I am is, there are a lot of things that I sort of would put as labels on myself, but I'm a modern Orthodox Jew, I'm 24 years old, I'm married, and all these things, like, each of those words has so much significance to each person in a different way. And who I am, and who I've always been, is someone who's incredibly curious, who wants to understand the world better. And I think that one of the tools that I found that have been most useful is the interactions I've been having with other people. And I've spent the last year to 2 years really focusing in on, and almost like a marine biologist goes out and they're like, oh, I'm so curious about this animal, I really want to understand this animal better, I've always been more curious than others. And then they start observing it and asking their own questions and developing theories. I've been doing that, but as opposed, my animal is conversations. And now I want to share with the world what I found, and I want to hear what you guys have to say on my findings. I want this to be like the scientific field where we can explore things, we can make theories, we can test those theories out, and we can have the world really benefit from the differences that are made. So I'm excited to start this journey, and you're all welcome to join. Welcome to the world of conversations.